Welcome back to Felsburn on Farming Simulator 19 for episode 12 with me, MrSealyp. We're just passing the farm on the left, guided tour of Felsburn, and the money's gone up a little bit. We've been doing quite a few contracts. Haven't done any more grass work because I've got all those bales still sitting there. The bale price that was plummeting horrendously has finally stopped plummeting, which is good news for at least. And there's a few things I need to get done in this episode. A couple of things I'm going to buy. I'm going to take a bit of a punt on a couple of things, but the reason I'm in this at the moment is because I took on a contract on field 11 for, was it ploughing or cultivating? I can't even remember what the contract was now. Cultivating. Doesn't pay a lot, and a lot of the cultivating jobs don't. I've got a nice a couple of fertilising ones there, which I'll take on in a minute. They weren't there a little while ago. But like I said before, the cultivating ones on here, because the fields aren't that big, it's worth doing the cultivating jobs because then that unlocks the sowing jobs. When the sowing jobs are done, that unlocks the fertilising jobs. So it's kind of, it works in your favour to do them. So a lot of these ones down here, like field 8, field 21, they don't pay a huge amount. And if you lease or borrow the other person's equipment, you don't make a huge amount of money on them, but it's the kind of concept of it moves you on to the next stage. But, and here's the thing, I haven't used these pieces of equipment yet, so I thought that's why I thought I'd show it. We've got a fence, 1159 MT, very nice. And we've got the Bednar. Now this is the new one that came in FS19. You might have used this already, but this is in the subsoilers section. And again, this is another one of those ones I'd look at a video online for this, and it's really a very cool piece of kit. It's technically 3 sections. You've got a fertiliser box on the back here, and then you've got this section here which is your subsoiler, and then you've got this section here which is kind of like your cultivator, which then gives you a smoother seed bed over the back of the subsoiling. That kind of flattens, churns up, gets rid of any of the clods, that levels it out a little bit, so you've got almost like a disc harrow and all sorts of things going on here. But what's really cool about this as well, I haven't got fertiliser at the minute because the job is only to do cultivating, is that these here, actually I'm going to open it up, that would make more sense, wouldn't it? Let's open it up. Like so. Very cool. So you've got all these pipes that come out the back of here, big cluster, and all comes up through here. And each of these tubes and pipes goes to one of the chisels. So what it does, as it chisels, it's putting fertiliser, could be nitrates and various different things I suppose, actually directly down into the ground in those channels as it cuts them. So it's a pretty cool piece of kit. And because I haven't used one before, I thought, you know what, let's just do a little bit on this. I think it's 6 metre. But I need to line this up a little bit better. Got the tight turning of the tracked vehicle along with all of this. It's quite a long piece of kit when it gets going, but it's quite flexible for turning. Let's get a worker on that because I'm going to need a worker to get going. So there you go. So you've got the chisel ploughing bit in the front here, and it kind of goes over and gives you a smooth seedbed. So again, this will give you a ploughing state as well, I think, because it's under subsoilers. You've got the chisel plough bit which will kind of technically plough it, then the back bit, or the back of this bit here, there, and this bit here which kind of gives you the cultivating state as well. So anyway, yeah, I just thought it's very nice. I like the fertiliser box in the back. If you could just get that on its own, that looks really cool. There's like an additional tank. Pretty cool. So I'm going to let the work carry on with this, and again that will chug away quite happily, do its own thing. I want to see it do a turn actually. I'm just curious to see how the worker tackles this. It's going to be an interesting one. Oh, okay. Nice big wide sweep rounds, that kind of makes sense. That's not bad actually. Cool. Well, what time is it? 2:24. Yeah, so I'm hoping now is over the next little bit of time. I'm hoping the price of silage starts to creep up again, and then we'll be alright. When I get to the bottom of the field, I'm going to jump out, I'm going to head over to the farm. My soybean in 19 and 20 is on its final growth stage. That'll be ready to harvest soon. I've got some repair work to do on a couple of vehicles. I want to buy and place a shed. Probably going to replace the harvester in this episode, ready for doing that harvest. Now here's the thing, I was asked a question, or the question was posed to me more, that the price obviously at the barn for selling silage bales does fluctuate. It doesn't immediately, you don't sell like one lot of bales and all of a sudden the price plummets. It does go up and down, but it takes a while. So somebody said to me, why don't you just buy the BGA, sell them all at the BGA? Well, the BGA still has that issue that the bales will only go in at a certain point, kind of hovering in the air somewhere, which makes doing it a little bit harder. Oh, that's going to be interesting. I'll have to come back and do a load of that, aren't I? Actually, not what I'll do. Swing around. Which is going to make things a little bit trickier, but not impossible. I'll just line this up if I can. Which is great. So I thought, well, you know what I'll do? I'll test it, because if it turns out buying the BJ, even if I have to take out a loan, and then taking all the bales over there works out a better prospect, then I'll do that. So I did a bit of a test on it, and I know a lot of people had commented. Barris, I think, was one of the first people to message me to say that Giants had kind of confirmed that there's a bit of a faux pas with the BGA, that in the update, I'm sure I've mentioned this already, I'm pretty sure I have, but if you haven't watched that particular episode you maybe didn't know. The BGA had an update as part of the patch and update, which is fine, but in that update, weirdly enough, on this map it was only 141,000 to buy the BGA. That rocketed to 500 and something, or it might be the other way around. It might be this one was expensive and Ravenport was suddenly rocketed. Whichever way around it is, the bales are still a bit of a pain to get rid of there, and I guess the point is you're not supposed to be doing bales there. That's supposed to be at the barn. Now the point that was made was by the BGA, because the price at the BGA is fixed. You get a fixed price, it will not change. And according to when you buy the BGA, it says 600 is the fixed price. So well, actually that's pretty good. You know, that's going to give you, what's that, 2,400 per bale, is that right by my calculations? 600, 600, 1,200, 2,400 per bale. That's a pretty good price. You know, it's not brilliant, but it's not bad at all. So I tested it. I put 8 bales through, let it run through till midnight for the payment. Now what should have been up around 19,000, I only got 6,800 or something. 6,400 was all I got, which puts it at 800 for the entire bale, which is a bit worrying. And this is the point that had been said to me. Barris had messaged me and said Giants had said they've made a bit of a mistake, and that the prices are set regardless of the saying it's 600, it's only paying out on like hard mode setting or something, and in the next patch or update that's going to get sorted, hopefully. So in answer to the question, why don't I just take all my bales over to the BJ and sell them there, because I'll get next to nothing for them. So I'm better off waiting for the price to go back up at the barn, and then all should be well. We should be okay there. So I think I'm going to have to leave this now, and whatever's left at the end, because it doesn't look like it's going to do all of it. This will probably stop short again this end by a fair bit. I'll just come and tidy up. Or to be fair, it'll probably finish the contract, so it won't worry too much about that. Yeah, it's going to stop short here. I'll jump out while it's turning around. Okay, so that's that bit done. That's all that talked about. Like I say, my soybeans going great guns here. Once this is harvested, this field 19 and 20 will get prepped, and then I'm going to plough the two together. So I've got 19 and 20 already joined, and I'm going to join those with 18. 18 has been prepped. I cultivated it, well I subsoiled it because it needed ploughing. Subsoiled it and fertilised it. Did I lime it as well? Did it need lime? I can't remember now. Hang on. Oh, it's because I was looking at this one. So, did I lime it? I can't remember if I did or not. Field 18 has been cultivated. Soil composition. Oh, it needs lime. Okie dokie. Right. Just sort that out. I don't know whether or not at some point to get the lime station mods and have it at the farm. Might make life a bit easier. Potentially. Right, so that's going to need liming. So like I say, I don't have to worry about that straight away because I'm not going to do anything with it until I can combine them all together. But repair and maintenance. The harvester needs a bit of work and needs a bit of a jet wash. So that's going to be repaired first if I'm going to sell it. The value's not great. But it doesn't matter because it will just add to what I've got. Now when I buy the new harvester, it's going to leave me fairly short, I'll be totally honest. But the thing about that is that hopefully once the bale price comes up and I sell my soybean, and the money will all come back up again anyway. And that's the whole point, is I'm making money to buy new machinery and upgrade and move on to where I need to get to. So that's kind of in essence the whole point of it. So I'm going to need to change. Actually, I'm going to leave the fertiliser in here for the time being because I've got a couple of fertilising jobs I can do. Let's move that out of the way. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, isn't it? Right, let's move that there for the time being. Jump out of that. So a lot of this stuff is normally kind of behind the scenes stuff. But I suddenly thought to myself, you know what, I don't show any of my kind of maintenance and repair and jet washing and sorting vehicles out and moving them around. It just kind of happens between episodes, and I thought, you know, this is all part and parcel of it, really. The day-to-day. Right, that's nice and clean. Start that up. Move that out of the way. That's ready to go to the store. Now that's an interesting one. Because the other thing someone commented to say, and I always thought it was the other way around. If I tried to sell my harvester here, that says it's worth 49,693. Now it was always that kind of, if you take it to the store, you get more for it. Now somebody said they sold their stuff at their own workshop and they got even more for it. Now what was it offering me there? 59, wasn't it? Or was it 54? Something like that, wasn't it? So I'm going to take it to the main store and see if I get more for it there. I think it's going to be the same price. I think it's only if you sell it kind of online that you get less. If you take it to the actual store. So I suppose if it works out exactly the same as selling it at my own one, there's no point driving all the way to the store, but it always was that way, so I've just kind of got into that habit, I suppose. Right. Next job is that needs some repair work. Well, I can't even speak today. The distinction. It is the distinction, isn't it? Why can't I remember the name of this? Here's the distinction. Load King, isn't it? Yeah, the Load King distinction. Yeah, this barn's perfect, this shelter, for putting that in. I like that. So next job then is to repair this. So it's been doing a fair old bit of haulage here and there. Could probably do with a bit of repair work. So what do we need? 239. Fantastic. So, what's that done? Now I did do a tiny bit of baling around field 8. That was something else I was asked. Why do I keep referring to the fields, not the plots? When I buy them, it's a plot, so I'll buy the plot of land that it's on. But when I'm referring to the work I'm doing, I'm actually doing work on the field that's on that plot or the land around it. So I will say, you know, the grass around field whatever. I totally understand. I know, I get it, they're plots. I do know that, but I'd still refer to them as fields because it's field whatever, it's on plot whatever. But I don't know. Again, it's just another one of those habits. I've just got used to saying things a certain way. So right, so that's the repair done on that. Repair done on that. That's moved. That's jet washed. Right, we need to go and sell this. The cultivating is still continuing. Now I have got my own cultivator now. The Agromash. It's not a huge one, but on some of the smaller fields, when I take on those cultivating jobs, I can use my own cultivator and therefore make all the money on it rather than using any for borrowed. But I wanted to borrow that equipment because it's, like I say, it's a little bit different, bit cool. So, what day is it today? Monday. No videos Saturday or Sunday. I had a weekend off. Bit of family time, a few things to do, you know how it is. The maps that were in testing on Friday, I checked on mods in testing this morning and Marwell Manor Farmers dropped off of there. Now either it's passed testing and it's going to come out today, or it's failed testing and it's not on the testing list. Grizzly Mountain? Grizzly Mountain's still on there. And there's Alps Panorama. It doesn't actually say that's a map. I'm assuming that is. I'm not too sure. So whether anything comes out today or not, I don't know. Fingers crossed. I'll keep an eye on it. I do appreciate all those people that message me to say mods are out, maps are out, and that kind of stuff. Oh, that's where I put the lime. I knew I'd had lime in the back of the spreader. I just didn't know what I did with it. Oh, weird. Anyway. Yeah, so I do appreciate it, everyone that says, you know, that's great. And what I generally do is every day from about 12:30, I suppose, UK time, 12:30, 1 PM, I start checking the Giants website. Often they drop on there first before they come into the mod hub, so often I'll check the website first to see what's gone up. Sometimes they pop up on the mod hub before they do on the website. That's more unusual. And that's any time normally. Sometimes they drop around 2 o'clock. Sometimes. So what's that offering me? Oh, that's the header, isn't it? Sell that. And then back onto there. 59,557. I think it was about the same, wasn't it? Oh well, so maybe it is. I'll just do it at my thing there. So up to 461. So we're in the market for a new harvester. Cool. Yeah, so I'm sure, yeah, anywhere from about 2 o'clock. Sometimes the mods drop around 2. Sometimes between 2 and 3. Sometimes it's bang on 3:30 UK time, which is an interesting one. So I generally keep an eye on it all the way through from that point, really. And every now and again you might have a mod appear first thing in the morning. Like someone's gone into work and thought, oh yeah, bong, and sort of ping it on. It's a bit odd. They come up all different times. So, we want a new harvester, please. Like I say, it's going to leave us very, very short. With a couple of fertilising jobs, the money will go back up. Once the silage bale price goes back up again, we'll dump all those bales and we'll be quids in. And then we'll be on to our next thing. So, on Ravenport, I bought the T560. I'm going to get the Rosselmash RSM 161. Can't go any higher than that because I haven't really got enough to buy things, and I do want to upgrade on Ravenport. So on here, we're going to get the Rosselmash RSM 161. That was a mod on FS17, and I really liked this one. Because if you remember, we haven't got any original ones, have we? Yeah, because we've got the Nova 330, which is a funky little thing. This is a cool looking little harvester. I'd really, you know, it's a pity it is so small because it looks brilliant. It really does. I mean, this is the new iterations of the Rosselmash harvesters, because the old ones, the ones that we had originally on, do we have 15? We did, didn't we? The Torum and the, oh, what was the other one called? They were really slab-sided like a brick, you know. Whereas the RSM 161 is more, you know, streamlined and funky. It just, I don't know. I like it a lot. So, standard or wide? Oh, wide looks quite mean and... Yeah, let's go wide. Don't know why, just... Yeah. Cool. Let's buy that. And then we want the header that goes with it. And what I like about the header that goes with this is it's like the big drapers. This one here, the Draper Stream 900. Like the big ones you get as you go further up. The Case, Terraflex and the Draper 45 foot. They've got their own built-in header trailer, which I think is fantastic for a smaller header. That's seriously cool. So, new harvester time. Very cool indeed. I'm pleased about that. What we left with? 102,000. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Now our loan is down to, if you remember when I originally started taking out loans to buy fields and do the grass and all the other bits and bobs I was doing. Have I missed the hookup? There is a hookup, isn't there? Tell me there's a hookup, yeah. I think the loan was at 160,000, wasn't it? And what I've been doing, as I've been doing jobs and various different things, I've been gradually chipping away at it. So we're down to 125 now. So as we make a bit of money, I might knock like 5 grand off, 5 grand off. So I'm trying to get that down as low as I can. So maybe when we do all those silage bales, if we have a massive amount of money, I might knock like 20 grand off it. And like so I'm gradually trying to get that down. I think on both maps, on both Let's Plays, I'm doing the same thing, trying to get that down a bit. But anyway, let's have a look inside. Our new harvester. You know that new car smell you get? Did you get a new harvester smell? I guess you must do. I've never owned a new harvester. Only in game. Is there such a thing, a new harvester smell? I'll keep telling myself there is. One of those little tree air fresheners hanging from the rear view mirror. A little bit faster than the New Holland. Again, which will make getting around the map pretty easy. Although, just suddenly realised the header. Right, next step then. So on this plan of beacons off, turn the engine off. It's pretty cool. I have to say, I do like as you do start to expand and you do start to make more money, when you kind of come back into your yard. And again, it's one of those things. Don't take it for granted. Every now and again, just stop all the frenzy, just stop all the rushing around tending to your fields, and just take a couple of minutes and walk around your yard, walk around your farm, walk around and look at all the equipment that you didn't have when you started the map, and have a look at what you've now got, what you've built up, what you've placed, what I just think it's cool. You suddenly stop and think, wow, yeah, I only started with like a couple of tractors, and this one was different. We started with a farmhouse and all sorts, which we had knocked down and whatever. Now, talking of that, we need a new barn, shed, shelter type thing. So that's what we're going to do. Boom! There we go. New shed. This is the corrugated shed. I can't remember who the model was. It'll come up on the screen. Now this is just going to be for some smaller bits of equipment, maybe the tractors or something like that, because I've got a couple of bits. I want to get a bigger seeder than these two that we've got here, but I have got these odds and ends all kind of laying around the sides and nowhere really for the tractors to go and that kind of thing. And now we've got the bigger harvester. That's going to go in here, but the header needs to go somewhere. So I'm thinking if I can pull the header along under here, maybe. So yeah, it's just going to be a bit of reorganisation around the yard. But there we go. So we've got a new shelter. It's very nice. I like this one. 9,500 to place, and because it was all flat and very, very lovely, it only cost 9,500. No more, no less. The contract on Field 11 has just completed. So what I think I'm going to do is actually let's go into here. Like I say, 1,090, not a huge amount, but if I collect on that, and now we'll go down, so field 12, field 6, both need doing. So let's get that, like I say, that'll get a little bit more money back into the bank again. And then once I've done those two, I'll then pick up a couple more cultivating jobs, because then another sowing job will come up and so on and so forth. So let's accept the contract on field 12. We'll get that over and get that going. I could use... doesn't matter actually. Do it with the JCB. How much have I got in there? 3,000 and something. At some point I need to swap the lime. So the beacon's on. So I can lime that other field 18. And at some point in a minute I'll start tidying the yard up and move some vehicles around. What? Let's open that out. Probably could have gone a little bit further over there. Should really have put narrows on this, shouldn't I, for doing this? I suppose it's not my field, is it? So, and it doesn't seem to be damaging the crops. We're all right, but you know, for the sake of a bit more realism, I suppose I should have done really. So let's have a quick look in the menu. Weirdly, having cultivated that field, and mind you, it normally takes a little while for it to pop back up. I've still got some of these harvesting ones, which now I've got the new harvester. Again, I can pick these up, and I've got the truck and trailer. Don't have to take a hit on any of those. I can do them all myself. It's the ones like those. That's still there. That's still there. The potato and sugar beet and various different things. That's going to be a very simple, quick one to do. Field 4. So I need to sort of rotate through these. But if I look at the main map now, we go back to growth. You can see as I've been working my way across the map, done 22, 23, 14, 13, 12, 10 I did, 6 I did, and I'm gradually kind of 11 I just cultivated, 12 I'm now spraying, so then I'll gradually kind of do the various different contracts as I go. But I say some of these are potatoes and some are, you know, they can be a bit hard going. That one there, interestingly, field 26, which is the cotton, that's been on that for nearly 2 days. It just hasn't moved. So yeah, I don't know. Odd one that. The yard's a bit tidier now anyway. Truck and semi in there. I've got the header trailer just put under there. Should keep most of the rain and bad weather off. Harvester's in there. That'll get a good run out. Well, at some point once that's done. Spreader's back in there. That's all in there. 2 seeders are in there with the fence. Like I say, I do want to upgrade. That one especially needs to be bigger now. Especially now we've got the JCB. But the good thing about that is now we've upgraded the harvester and we've got the truck and trailer. And we've got the big M for mowing and the baling setup and the sheep on the way and all that kind of stuff. When I make all that money on the silage bales, we can buy a bigger tractor. So I'll be straight in with a much bigger tractor, which means what I might do is hold off on the seeder until we've got a much bigger tractor. Then I know how much bigger I can go with seeding. That's probably the best bet. So what I'm going to do now is head up the hill and enjoy the scenery a bit. I think let's head up there. Have I got my lights on? Oh no. Is that an electronic dash? That's pretty cool. Look at that. Fancy. Didn't even know I had that. Now I do. Now someone said, oh yeah, that's true, the JCB hasn't got the glass isn't in it. And it doesn't look like it is. If I turn now to get the sun, no, as it is on that one and that one, doesn't look like it's got glass, does it? Weirdly, the stickers there, the decals on the side. Didn't even notice. Didn't even notice. Right. Actually, not what I'm going to do. Turn my indicator off. I'm going to go this way. I haven't really been this way before. I think it's actually going to take me up in a curve round and back to the grain mill, isn't it? I went up to field 12 a minute ago to do the fertilising, but I haven't actually driven the route round here. So when I did the first look map tour, I did the bulk of it by train and then went to the other points after that. I suddenly had that horrible feeling that I did hook up the cultivator, didn't I? I'm not driving all the way up there without it, but I can see it in the mirrors, so we have got it. Oh yeah. I do want to do some forestry on this map as well, I think. Maybe in another episode I'll get some forestry done. I'll pick an area, we'll buy the plot and we'll get some forestry done. Why not? I've been to the sawmill on this one. Those barriers have caught me out quite a few times when I've been transporting things around. I just go a little bit too far over, stray over to the right a little bit, and I'll suddenly find myself cross-axled up the side of... Is it Armco? Armco? I think that's what they call it in the UK, isn't it? I don't know if that's a universal thing or it's called something else. Crash barrier, or whatever you call it. When I get up the top, I think... Like I say, we'll have a quick look at the scenery. Of course, all uphill, wasn't it? Oh, I came up here to the bales, didn't I? Of course I did. On field 3. To be honest, I haven't really been up there very much. Yeah, I have been up here, but not... Oh, that's slowing down. Yeah, it's getting thinner, I can feel it. There's a chill in the alpine air. Right. Is it Alpine? If it's Alps. Germany? Don't know. My geography could be well off. Actually, let's... As I said we would do. Whoop. Might have been better off walking, I think. Cool. It's a bit bumpier, isn't it? Mind you, though. Wow. What a view. I do love the fact that when you come up here, and I know I did it on my first map tour, you get that wind whistling. It's a brilliant effect. I love it. Maybe out over here might look a bit better. Seems to be a higher outcrop, doesn't it? Oh yeah, look at that. Anywho. Whoops. Cool. There's some movement on that front axle, isn't there? So I think next episode's going to be hopefully the soybean harvest. What time is it now? 4:30. Potentially. Oh, missed a bit. Not too far. Not far enough over. Yeah, soybean harvest on fields 19 and 20. Then the field work between the two, I would imagine. Hopefully the price of the silage bales will have come up. And it's all go. So yeah, we've come to the end of this episode, I think. Bit of contracting work, bit of tidying up, bit of new shelter, new harvester, you know, all sorts going on. The Felsburn saga continues, as do both Let's Plays. The kind of day-to-day, what am I doing, how have I got where I've got to. If you jumped in now into the Let's Play, go back to the start, watch the beginning, watch the Ravenport one. Before you know it, there'll be no new maps out, and I will be moving around and looking at different Let's Plays on different maps and things like that, because I know there's this kind of debate raging, but you know, there's lots of people want new maps, desperate for new maps. There's lots of people saying, I'm happy with the two we've got, I'm still playing on them. I know I mentioned it in the last episode and it caused a little bit of, you know, there were some people having heated conversations, we'll just say that in the comments. And don't get me wrong, I'd love to see a new map. I enjoy playing on them all. You know, people always say the ones that Giants give us aren't that great. They're fantastic maps, of course they are. There are modders out there that bring us just that next level stuff, you know. You know what I mean, and there's no disrespect to Giants or anyone else, you know, it's just the way it is. So do I want to see new maps? Of course I do, absolutely. I just think the whole concept's brilliant. Seeing what people come up with, you know, the way their minds work, the way they tackle different problems, I just think it's incredible. And having new terrain, and half the battle, half the challenge is that new map, new terrain, you know, new landscape, especially now on 19. Where do I place my farm? What do I place? What do I landscape? How do I want to start it off? Because obviously you've got to remember, when we started off playing this, the landscaping tool wasn't out yet, so most people kind of established their farm, their Let's Play, whatever it was, before the landscaping, whereas now we've got the option that when a new map hits, you can kind of landscape right from the start. You know, that's going to make a big difference. So yeah, it's going to be cool. Can't wait. Anyway, yeah, with that said, end of the episode. I did say that a little while ago. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.